Today we have Denise Wells on the call. Denise, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself in a second. But Denise is one of our rent-to-own clients. She paid off her balance within 4 years, which I think is very commendable, right? So we're going to go into the discussion today about her journey, how she felt about the process, what's her next plans for the home, and what she's been able to accomplish over this time, right? So, Denise, well, everybody already know your name is Denise. Let us know your age, your occupation. Give us a little bit of background about you.
Okay, so I'm Denise Wells. My occupation is I'm a server at the hotel.
Okay.
And I'm 45 years old.
Okay. Now, before we met, or before working with us, right? What steps were you taking to try to get a home? Tell us about that journey.
All right. So, believe it or not, I wanted a home, but I felt like I couldn't really afford it until I stumbled on your page back in 2018, and I had stumbled on your page like earlier in the year.
Okay.
And with rent-to-own, I wasn't sure.
Okay.
So I said, anyway, let me take a chance, and I reached out to your company, and I spoke with your secretary at the time, and she advised me on what to do. I went on the page and I looked at what I liked. And then when I saw what I liked, I contacted your company back.
Okay.
And then you, in turn, came and gave me a tour of the home that I had selected.
Okay, so now before all of this, let's talk about before that, right? Were you trying to get a mortgage? Did you ever try to get approved for mortgage? What was that like?
No.
Okay.
No, not while I was in Nassau. No, because I already knew a lot of the hiccups that my father went through with mortgages. I don't know if you remember the last live I spoke to you about what my father went through with his mortgages.
Yeah.
And what a lot of my friends went through with their mortgages.
Okay.
So for me, it was like a horror story. Huh?
What type of challenges they told you about?
Just the interest rates alone. One of my friends right now is actually one of my coworkers is actually trying to get a mortgage right now, and the bank tell her if she don't have at least $40,000 ain't nothing happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's just for the deposit, or that's for closing costs as well?
That's with the down payments, and that's not even closing costs. That's with hiring the lawyer to do the paperwork.
Wow.
So the closing cost comes after you've already basically paid off the home.
Okay. So you're 45 now. So that means we would have met when you were about 40, 41, right?
Yeah, 40, 41 going on 42, because I actually paid off my mortgage in 3.5 years, not 4.
Not 4. Okay.
Not 4.
But prior to meeting us, did you always have the desire to get your own place?
Yeah, I did. I did, especially when I moved to Nassau. I told my husband, I said, in 2018, I told him, I said, this year ain't going past without me getting a home. I said, I ain't going into the new year without getting a home. So
you spoke that into existence?
I spoke that into existence. Trust me.
Okay. So how did you hear about rent-to-own? Did you see our ad? Did someone tell you about us? What
I actually saw it on Facebook.
Okay.
I saw it on Facebook. And like I said, I reached out to, I can't remember which secretary was at the time, but I reached out to her. And she got back to me like in about 48 hours, less than 48 hours. And, we set up a time to view the house. And then I met with you. You actually showed me the house.
Yeah. Now, what type of house is it? 3-bed, 2-bath? Tell us about the home.
My house is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath with an efficiency on it.
Okay. How much you purchased it?
Okay, so I purchased it for $115,000.
Okay. And what was the monthly?
The monthly payments was actually $750.
$750.
It was supposed to be $750.
Okay.
Yeah, but I doubled up on my payments. Yeah, okay. I made extra payment.
So the efficiency that you had in the back, was it occupiable to rent? How long did it take to rent that out?
We had like minor work to do to it to get it to the point where it needed to rent. So that was like when we got the home, that was our first focus. That was our main focus to get that up and running. It took us like maybe about a month to get it to where we wanted. And by the time we got it to the point where it was rentable, it took about a month to get it rent.
Yeah.
And it's still rented.
With the same tenant?
Well, the first tenant, they moved into a big efficiency because she got her kids to come and live with her.
Okay.
So now I just have a single gentleman there, and he's been here now like 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
So your rent-own payment,
2 years.
To the seller per month was $750. I mean,
right.
Agreed on the contract, right?
Right.
And how much the tenant was paying you monthly?
$650.
So basically, if you didn't do nothing else, you only needed to pay an extra $100 per month to actually live inside the place.
Yeah.
Wow. So so let's talk about the process when you actually got the place, right? What type of work did you have to do on the home?
So it was a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
But it wasn't in a really bad state. You know, that's why you allowed me to look at the home to see exactly what I was up against before purchasing the house.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. Like we just had to do like minor roof work on the house.
Okay.
Because it had like leaks in certain areas.
Okay.
And that was basically it. That was the only main issue. That was the only major issue we had, and that wasn't even major.
So you did the work yourself, or you had to hire a contractor?
We didn't hire a contractor. My husband actually hired a friend that does carpentry work.
Okay.
And he ran up there, and some of the plywood just needed to change.
Okay.
Like 2 or 3 of the plywoods needed to change, and that was about it. And then we did the roof over.
Okay, and you packed as you go from there.
Yeah, we did. We did that out of our pocket.
Yeah. How much would you say? How much did you come up with a deposit for that home at the time?
When I came up with a deposit for the home, I came up with $15,000.
Okay, and that was automatically taken off the balance, right?
Right, automatically taken off the balance.
And every month that you made your payment, your balance was reducing also.
Right. So every month, so I was fortunate enough to have homeowners that were amazing.
Yeah.
I had your guidance, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So with the homeowners, what I did was once I made my payments, at first, before I got online banking, what I did was I wire transferred the money to their account. So I was able to have a paper trail, and they would be able to have a paper trail.
Okay.
And then eventually I got online banking. So I would just transfer the money to their account, and then I would just never know that the money was there. And I would screenshot it and send it to us so we both could keep track of the payments. And then what I did was I kept a journal of all my payments.
Okay. Okay.
Something that you told me to do as well.
Yes. Keep proper records.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Now, I know you mentioned that your friend is in the process of trying to get a mortgage, and she mentioned that the bank says she needs about at least $40,000 to get started.
Right. Right.
Do you feel like the rent-own process saved you money?
Definitely, because with my home was basically just $115,000. That was all the owners required. I had no interest to pay.
No. Okay.
A lot of times when you go through the process of purchasing a home and you buy into the bank, at least the first 5, 6 years, you just basically paying interest, maybe longer.
Yep.
That's why the process of paying off a mortgage is like 20, 25 years. That's why it's so long. Just simply because of the interest.
Do you know there's a clause in mortgage contracts that penalizes people for when they want to pay off their balance much sooner? So say
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard someone told me that.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, right? I heard that.
So even if they get a mortgage initially to start off with, if ever you're trying to pay off this balance much faster and you're paying too much, the bank actually charges you interest on top of that, right?
I was actually told that, like, if you go into the bank to put money on the principal, which is the interest, they actually try to persuade you from putting money on the principal. I heard that you can't actually put money on the principal for at least the first couple years.
And that's crazy.
It is.
I mean, they have a business to run, and I mean, I appreciate the fact that they provide financing for homes, but in today's current economy, I think that's kind of criminal sometimes. You know what I mean? Especially if you have the extra to pay it off, like let the people pay it down a little bit sooner so it could be a little bit easier for them, you know?
I
So,
agree. That's why I glad I didn't have to go to the bank. I trust me, I glad like when my contract was over, like my 3 years was over because my contract was actually 3 years.
mm-hmm.
You know, I had asked Miss Russell to, just bear with me because, we had gone through COVID and all those other stuff. So, I told her, I said, Miss Russell, just give me 3 more months. Just give me 3 months. She was like, Denise, you paid through the pandemic, and I always paid on time. I always paid my payments on time.
Yeah.
Even through the pandemic, I was paying on time. I wasn't paying the double like I normally was.
Yeah.
During the pandemic.
But you was paying.
But I was paying it. But
okay.
but before the pandemic and then after the pandemic, I was doubling up because I knew my goal.
Yeah, yeah. And what from your experience over the last 3.5 years, 4 years, what went better than you expected it to? Like coming into it, what was your thoughts? And then while being in it, like what went better?
So coming into it, I was scared. I ain't gonna lie. Coming into it, I was scared.
Yeah.
When I sat down with you and I went through my contract, listen to me, that contract is so important. Because with that contract, your contract has to stipulate everything. Like some of the stuff that your contract stipulated was that with the homeowners would be responsible for the insurance of the place.
Yeah.
That was one of the stipulations I liked.
Yeah.
Another one was that, if the homeowners changed their mind, they would have to give me back my down payment. And then what I invest into the house, which was another thing that I really, really liked. So in the end, I wasn't losing.
No.
I wasn't losing. So, and then when I finally met the homeowners, it was even better because like I say, Miss Russell was just amazing.
Yeah.
She was, this house had to be for me because listen to me, it couldn't have been no easier.
No way.
No, I serious. It couldn't be no easier. I had absolutely no issues.
Do you feel as though you'd have ever had the opportunity like this had we not have this service available for persons who may not want to go through the bank?
I feel like
yeah.
That, and I encourage you every day. I always tell you, Mr. Monica, don't stop what you're doing. I always tell you that. I always tell you that.
Yeah, you do.
A lot of times people don't have that heavy down payment to take to the bank. Even with getting a repossessed home now, sometimes some people are so spiteful. Like when the bank tell them they have to move out, you don't know what kind of damages you can face getting a repossessed home. I've heard stories where people put cement down the pipes.
What?
Like, just doing cruel stuff.
Wow.
I've heard, but my son's uncle, one of my son's uncle's friends, he was telling me how when the people move out his place, they tear down all the tiles of the bathroom. So, and a lot of times with repossessed homes, I don't think you're able to actually look at the home before you purchase it. Am I right?
Well, with the repossessed homes, unless you could get a mortgage, you can't even come and check out the place.
Right.
So,
but,
yeah.
But with your company, all I had to do was just call and make an appointment, and that was it. And that was it. Once I saw it, I was like, and I told you what I wanted, and you was like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to the owners. I think you contacted me back in less than 48 hours.
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So, what's your future plans for the home? Tell us about what's happening now. Well, actually, tell us about what was the process like with paying off the balance, and because the property in your name now, right?
Yeah. So everything right now is it was sent to the registry office.
Yeah.
The conveyance and everything is already in our name.
Yeah.
And so the process was once we had already decided that we were going to pay the house off cash.
Yeah.
We contacted our lawyer. We took our contract in.
Mm-hmm. How did the lawyer feel about the contract?
The lawyer actually liked the contract.
Yeah.
When he was reading the contract, actually, he was like, this man get everything inside this contract. When he was actually reading the contract off, and he was reading it off in the front of us and the owners at the time. So all of us was actually in the office at the table, and once she brought in the conveyance, the lawyer did his thing. They signed off on the conveyance. We presented them with the check, and that was it. And then my lawyer said, okay, I'll see you in about another month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. He says, I'm going to send these things down to registry. Yeah. To get everything registered, and that was it.
How much you paid for closing costs?
The closing costs, now believe it or not, my closing cost was like about, it was like about, with my legal fees and everything, was like about, what, 14,000?
That still ain't bad.
That's good, because you told me I might be paying 20.
Yeah.
So it's like about 14, less than 15,000.
You know, and the good part with the rental that I like a lot is that the only thing that you're coming up with initially is the deposit that the seller asking for and the first month's rent.
Yeah.
Right? So, like in the case with your friend who's trying to get the place, she'll have to come up with a 40,000 plus that difference in costs, right? So right now you owe nobody for the home.
No, I mortgage free.
Mortgage free. How does it feel?
It feels so. Listen to me. When I was inside that lawyer office, I cried.
Literally?
I cried because I know it only could have been God. Mr. Monica, it was only could have been God. Trust me, I cried. I ever say, what you crying for? And I cried because I knew the sacrifices we made for those 3.5 years. I know what we went through for those 3.5 years. I know the savings we did for those 3.5 years.
So talk to me about that. What did you have to sacrifice? What did you do differently?
We just saved a lot. I don't want to say, well, I was never a party person, so partying was never an issue for me. Yeah. And then I was always a saver. Yeah. So what I did was we sat down and we came up with a savings plan that we would save a certain amount of money at the end of the month. Yeah. And by the time our contract was up and it was time for us to pay off the house, we had it $65,000.
So okay. So you got the home for $115,000, right?
Right.
And that was 4 years ago, back in 2018. It's now now 2022, right?
Right.
What is the worth? How much does the home worth now? What is the value of it now?
So the value, I paid $115,000 for it. Now it's valued $215,000.
$215,000.
Right.
So right now
we got it appraised the other day. It's $2,015.
So
$215,000. Sorry.
So basically, you ain't got no mortgage balance. You have a home that's worth $215,000 that you own outright right now. And if you wanted to, you could put that on the market and collect $200,000 and keep that cash, and all that cash goes to you.
Right.
You know how powerful it is, Denise?
Yeah, I know. I tell you, Mr. Monk, I was just blessed.
You know, you could even if you don't want to sell the home, you could pull out, let's just say $100,000 in your equity and go buy another property with that. You know, like I mean, in your case, I don't think this is what's going to happen with everybody, right? It all depends on your income and how you manage your finances. But to own a home outright, no mortgage, owe nobody, in 4 years, that's crazy.
In less than 4 years.
Less than 4 years.
November would make 4 years. Yeah, November would make 4 years.
Let me pull that back. In less than 4 years. That's really, I gotta give you a hand clap for that part. You know? So right now it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home, and you have an efficiency attached. So that means that person's still paying you rent. So you're collecting money on this place.
Right. I'm collecting money on this place, and we're in the process now of building 2 more.
2 more efficiencies?
Yeah, 2 more efficiencies. We already poured the floor. The plumbing is already in. The electrical work is already in.
Wow. So in that case, how much do you think you'll be collecting in rent once everything is rented?
I would say like maybe about 6, 12, 18, like $19.50.
$19.50 of free cash flow.
a month.
And how much
Only
it cost?
I can pay.
Go ahead.
How much? I say not. Yeah, just 1950 because I think we're gonna rent it for the same thing. The next two for the same thing.
Wow. So right now, you paid off a home in 4 years, and then now this home is about to pay you almost $2,000 a month in rental income, and you still live inside the place, and you live in for free.
Yeah.
My.
Only the utilities, but that's it.
So what's your plans going forward? You think you're gonna stay in the home, or now you're gonna put the whole thing on rent and probably try to get some?
This is my plan. I can't speak for my husband. This is my plan. This is what I want to do. I want to actually purchase another home. So I'm just waiting to save some more money to come and see you again. But my plans on is I love the house. I love it. I love the sacrifices we made for it. It taught me a lot.
Yeah.
But I want a home whereby it could just be me, my husband, and my kids running around in the back of the yard. So my plans is I'm thinking that I want to, once I done do the efficiencies, I would like for us to save towards getting another home and just put the entire property on rent.
So you plan to do another rental one again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully this time maybe my husband wants a duplex or a triplex, but I want a house.
Well, either way, you know, the good part is that now you have a much more stronger and solid foundation. So
right.
Even if you decide to get another rental home, and let's just say that home is costing, let's just say $1,500 a month in monthly payments, your tenants from the home that you have now could pay for
that off. Yeah, they could pay for that. You know what? Miss Russell told me when we were actually paying off the house, she said, Denise, she said, I wish I had another house to rent to own you.
Because of the fact that you was a good client to work with.
Yeah, I made sure pay. I was never late with my payments. I always paid my payments on time. Yeah. You know, whatever issues I was going through had nothing to do with her.
No.
Because I live in the people place, so I need to pay them.
Yeah. And you did say she gave you an extension on the contract, you said, right?
She did. I asked her, remember now the contract was supposed to out last year, November. Yeah. It did out last year, November. I asked her for some extra time because I was still accumulating the funds to pay off the house because, like I said, we didn't want to go through the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
So she gave me extra time. She said, I'll give you 3 to 4 more months. Mm-hmm. And within that 4 months, we were sitting on inside the lawyer office paying off the house.
So another question. How do you feel though? So now that you're a homeowner, right, and you have investment property, really, do you feel like you're a much different person now, and you might be a more happier person now compared to where you were when we first met? Your camera went off.
It's sorry about that. I said something. I'm a happier person now because I don't have no mortgage over my head, number one.
Yeah.
And I could concentrate on my kids' education, number 2.
Okay.
So with this process of me paying off my house, I was able to put my daughter in another private school. I moved her from one private school to another where she could actually be challenged more academically.
Wow.
So I could afford now to pay a little bit more with her school fees. I'm at a place now where like I've learned how to go without. I've learned to sacrifice. I've learned that, I don't need certain things. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's made me a more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Responsible?
Like a more, pardon me?
Responsible?
Responsible. I was already responsible, but it made me more focused. It made me more to look at the things that are important, to differentiate importance from non-importance.
Yes.
So.
Wow.
And then during COVID, let me tell you something. I pick up a hustle. I was like, boy, I gotta make this money one way or the next. And I started doing other things. Like I started focusing on other things. I started a little business, a little side business. I still have it going. Mm-hmm. It just made me more focused and make me realize more that, you gotta get up every day and make it happen.
And I know you feel good for the sacrifices you made over the last 3.5 years.
I so have, listen to me. When you know your sacrifice is paid off in 3.5 years, I tell you, I sit down in that office and cry. No more mortgage. Only God.
So what advice would you give to someone who may be considering signing up for our Home Accelerator program?
I would tell them go for it because, you know, I'm living proof that rent to own, it can be done. I'm living proof that it can be done, you know, and you know, a lot of times too, we as Bahamians, you know, we get these places and we focus on the things that don't matter. I didn't really do any major renovation to my home until we were basically to the point where we were paying it off. The only thing we did was really paint the outside.
Sacrificed until.
Right. And I sent you pictures of my home this morning. Yeah, so, you know, like my thing is.
Up in the front.
Yeah, I know, right? My thing is, you know, you got to focus on what's important. When we moved in, we basically only painted. We did some work to the yard, and then our major focus was the efficiency. We didn't do any major renovation to the house until like really this year.
Yeah.
At the point where we were getting ready to pay it off.
Once you knew it was yours.
Yeah, once I knew it was mine, because I'm not gonna go and renovate someone's house that's not fully mine yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna invest that kind of money yet. I'm gonna wait until, you know, it's mine, and then I'm gonna go all out.
And then
sometimes, you know, we look at other people and we see what they have, and we don't know what sacrifices they make to do what it is that they've done.
Yes.
So I stayed in my lane, I stayed in my corner, and I focused on what I needed to focus on. And then once the home is mine, you want to ride past this house now.
So you would tell anybody they should sign up for the program?
I think you should sign up for the program. Number one, once you have your down payments, and once you're resilient, and you focus, and you have your priorities in order, you can't lose.
No. I mean, it is a sacrifice initially, but the rewards are so much greater.
Much greater. And then you know what it is, at the end of your contract, you could honestly say, I rent free. I don't owe the bank for another 15 years. You know what that is?
That's a powerful feeling.
Listen to me. You know this, and know that I don't have to go in. The only thing I have to walk in the bank for is to do a withdrawal.
Hey, and it ain't nothing special about you that's different from any other client.
I'm just a regular waitress.
Yeah.
My husband is a regular hustler.
Yeah, make it happen.
And we just make it happen. That's it.
Yeah, man, Denise, once again, I appreciate you always for the support. Once again,
of course,
you know, what you've been able to do in the last 3.5, 4 years is nothing shy of amazing. I wouldn't lie to you, right? And
thank
you know, I envy sometimes, you know, the stories that I hear from clients, especially clients who I know got some really good deals on properties. Like I'm in the process of getting more to come on and give interviews, but you know, a lot of people like to be private. So I appreciate you for even, you know, allowing people to see your face and hear your story, because we have a lot more success stories that people don't know about, right?
Yeah.
And so anybody that's watching this video right now, if you'd like to join the Home Accelerator program, click the link below, fill out the application. Let's see if we could get you started, or at least get you started on the journey. Even if you don't have your deposit just yet, you know, our program is going to show you step by step how you put together these contracts and put together these deals where you could possibly be like Denise or other clients that we have who've been able to accomplish a lot of their major goals in such a short space of time, you know. Now, obviously,
everything.
Yeah. Now, everybody may not be able to be a part of the program just yet, right? Because there's thousands of people right now that need help, right? And I think right now we're the only solution available to persons who don't want to go to the bank or who can't go to the bank, right? And so, Denise, once again, I appreciate your time. I wish you continue.
It's a pleasure.
And I look forward to hearing more about the updates that you're about to make on the home with that.
You can send me phone.
Okay. And so, everybody that's watching this right now, thanks for your time. Denise, have a good day. Go relax.
You too, Monica.
And we'll
All right. All right. Take care. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you for everything.
Enjoy your day.
You too.